Okay, great. So we are now officially getting started with Python for data science, right? I hope this Google Colab environment is already done, setup is over, and you are able to log in into, right?
Yes.
I hope you are able to do. So we'll see into. So let's get started, right? Um, with introduction to Python. So as we already know about what Python is and how it is capable of doing stuffs there across. So what we'll do is be mostly using Google Colab environment for doing all our activities, right? So here, maybe before we get into other libraries, I just wanted to give you how simple this interface is mostly about, right? So as you
Yes.
guys have already worked in other programming languages, this Python is also really simple. So basically, for printing anything, it is case sensitive, that's all. But in Google Colab, when we are using it, is going to give us all the keywords and things. We don't have to remember any of the syntax at all, right? So for example, I have to print something, right? So by default, it's also mentioning what are we supposed to print. It comes with a both double uh, hello. Yes. So you can just type in inside the print and press Control Enter. So automatically it just prints the code just beneath that, right? So it is quite simple and easy interface, unlike others that we are generally using. This also comes with a RAM and a disk space and all. If you just right click here, you can basically see like what is a machine that is connected, what are the sessions. It also gives us some of the admin related tasks that are there. It just helps us to look into. And basically, if you click on this particular thing, this will basically insert a code after this particular statement, and you can start typing your code into this, right? So here within the print statement, you can do anything, right? So like usual programming languages that we do. So it also comes out with a example, what we can call it as. So it basically what it says is string is there. You can type in whatever it is. It is just giving us some examples as well as we are going to type anything here. So you can just type in this by this is what, and you can just press Control Enter, and you can see automatically this is printing there. And the same way, you can also print true or false, the Boolean expressions also inside this. So for example, if a true or false, basically it comes with this, the first letter is always caps. And it just basically says any Boolean expression, or within this true or false also, if you say, you can also type in others as well. For example, true or false. So if you just ask the print statement, it just prints one of this. So instead of or, you can also use and expressions here inside, and you can basically try to evaluate and do on things here. Right. So this is very basic things just to get started with. So I should not be directly jumping into something like import. I just thought of first making sure that you are comfortable using this interface. So I'm giving you very basic examples to start with, right? So you can type in any variables or keyword, for example, like school. I'm creating a new variable. So any variable as we are storing, either you can use double quotes or single quotes. So in Java, how do we save, Raghav? Do we declare the data type of the variable, right? First, int, and then
Sir,
we give the variable name.
first we mentioned public, private, anything else, sir, because data secure,
Hmm.
we mentioned the access modifier also. Without we
Uh-huh.
mention
Uh-huh.
the anything, it's automatically they are converting in the public type. So second,
Okay.
we
Okay.
mention the data type for like int, float, double, integer, those things also. And second,
Okay.
third one, we declare the variable name, school,
Uh-huh.
age,
Uh-huh.
whatever. That's
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
that's also. That
Right. Right.
thing also depending on two types. One is a statical mode, another is a dynamic mode.
Uh, uh, So here we
That
don't
will
have
move.
such complexities there, Raghav. It is straightforward. So you can just start typing on things as it is. So I'm not sure. Maybe after using Python more, you might start disliking Java or
Python is
something
very
like
easy,
that.
sir, compared to Java. It's easy to interrupt that.
Sorry.
Python is very easy, sir, compared to
Yeah,
Java.
yeah, exactly. It's very easy, very easy, very easy, simple to understand, right? So it is not complex at all. So you see, you can also, instead of control enter, it executes the code. If you just type enter, it goes to the next line also. So assume that I wanted to print this data set, right? Or I'm just saying print school. And then I'm saying typing here. And then I'm also wanting to know what is the type of this. So what you can do is you can just say, instead of print, you can say type of school, right? So now what happens, you see, it is saying school is of a type string, right? So string is a data type there, and so that's the type what we are seeing out here. So this is basically giving us what is the type of this school there, right? And now we saw type. There is something else also called ID. So ID is what? Basically, I'm saying print the ID of the school. You see here, there is something getting allocated here. So what do you think is whenever I'm typing ID of the school, there is a particular location it is referring to. This is nothing but a memory location within Python. Within this, for each variable, there will be a memory that is allocated. So as we are keeping files inside the drawer, right, the shelf one will be keeping more important, and likewise, Python also organizes this into different memory locations. So basically for each of this one, it doesn't physically store the data anywhere. It just points to this memory. So basically whenever you are saying the ID of this, it points to the memory location of this particular school um, variable, right? So that's what happens here. It doesn't store anything inside. It just point like a pointers that we call it as, right? How does it work in Java? How does Java stores this?
Java. In Java, store
So when
two
you are
memories,
declaring
heap
variables,
memory
yeah.
and the stack memory also.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So it's also storing in the object ID dependent.
Okay. It's a similar, yeah, almost all data programming languages will be having a very similar storage, even the SQL Server as well, or Oracle as well. So any variables that is declared, it stores in a memory location, and that memory is what is being referred to whenever we are going to move ahead, actually. So this is a small example to show you like how are things getting saved inside this Python, right? And now let's get into what are the different kinds of data types we have in Python, right? So first, let's see a few examples for integer data types. So similarly, let's get an input, right? So for example, I'm saying declaring a variable study hours, right? So I'm declaring a variable study hours, and inside that variable, I'm asking a input function. So the input is nothing but a string from a standard input. So basically, this is the prompt for that input. So here, what it does basically is I can type in some string inside the input. That's what the prompt was saying. So I'm saying how many hours of Python do you study? So how many hours of data science you study daily, right? So this is the question I'm asking. So I'll be saying like, okay, so if I want to execute this, right? So I'm not going to execute it now. Let me execute it later. So then I'll say, um, I'm going to calculate hours per week. So I have taken study hours, which will be in number of hours per day, right? So I'm saying I need to convert it hours per week. So I'm saying hours per week. That's another variable I'm declaring, right? So I'm basically saying the study hours into 7. And I'm saying print the hours per week. Okay. So assume that this is something that I'm doing here. Okay, I hope you are understanding. You are with me both, Raghav, Sashi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm taking a variable, study hours, and I'm taking that variable and I'm saying into 7. So what do you think will be the output here? So depending on, assume that I'm entering 2 hours per day. So what do you think will be the output? Guys, did I ask something very complex? Do you?
He was
No,
in
sir.
mute.
Okay, sorry.
It
Yeah, please.
um, it will show the how many hours do you. It will question for us. Then we
Ah,
enter the number of hours per day. It will calculate into
yes.
per 7. It will print the output.
So assume I'm entering 2, it will give me
7 into
2 into
14.
14 it will display, right? So
Yeah.
even that is my understanding. Let's see what Python's understanding is. Okay.
Python
So I'm going to enter the study hours of 2. Okay. Okay, let's get down and see. What is this?
Okay. This is, I think, we need to we need to convert as a integer, whatever the input.
Yes. Raghav, how does Java work?
We
Is
need
in
to
a
decide
similar way?
as
Yeah. Right. So how does Java work, Raghav? Whenever you have to do a similar computation.
Yeah, first they are asking how many hours of data science you study are. We enter
Ah,
the value for 2 days or anything. That
ah,
value we store the one object.
ah,
So that object we multiple or anything, we do the mathematical operation and store
ah.
we get the answer and store in another object.
Yes.
So finally we show the what we get in storing the whole value.
So for a very similar operation, what will be the output in Java?
For like we enter the two into
Ah,
7, they showing the answer. 2 into 7.
so it will show us 14
there is
directly.
no need to convert the data type.
Data type conversion is not required, or because I think in Java we first declare the data type and then we get, right? So maybe that's the reason why it is not.
So here study hours equal to input. So input
Uh-huh.
data we get the study hours, but
Yeah.
we cannot mention the study hours into 7 cell. So the data
Mm.
will multiple in the 7.
Okay. So, okay, fine. So here basically what we have to do is we have to convert it into this study hours, whatever we are giving, I'm saying, please take it as integer, right? And then print hours per week. So I'm saying
Or
it is 2. And now after taking it as 2, you see, after
14.
I convert it as integer, I have to specifically or manually mention this there in Python, right? Because everything is getting by default stored as object string, right? So depending, it assumes is to be a string by default. Hence, it was repeating us the 7 times. So whenever we say into 7, it just repeated that for us, right? So without conversion, there is also one, this 7 is there. There is something called two asterisks as well. So the same thing, I'm having it with 2 asterisks. You see here. So this is basically a power. So it is saying unsupported operand. So this is basically what it's saying is it's a type error you have typed in. And usually for multiplication, we use 2 asterisks generally. So that's why it is throwing an error. So actually what happens is it is considering this as string, and for manually looking into, we might have to convert it as integer and then take it forward, right? So I thought like this will be one important thing for you all to understand, because when we are going to work in Python, start solving, you should also know like what happens there, why it is working in this manner, what are the things that we might have to do in case if there is some error coming. So we'll be seeing that aspects as well here.
Only especially for integer only we need to declare it, or any float and integer, this kind of.
Yes,
We
by
need to
default,
specially
what
declare.
happens is,
Numbers need to
yeah,
declare it.
correct.
Characters not
So it
required.
depends on the value that is getting stored, right? So here you see, I'm giving a question here. So it is assuming this input is going to be string by default. So that's why it has assigned the data type as string there. So in case you are going to have it integer and float type, float also when you are assigning a particular value, it automatically takes. Let's see an example, right? So for example, I'm saying A is 3.414, something like this, right? I'm asking what is the type of A. So what is this type of A? Let's see what has happened. You see, as and when you assign a particular value to this, automatically it takes that value. You don't have to
Float.
manually declare what type this is going to be. It takes based on a value you are assigning it to that variable. By default, this takes. Right. So we might, when other languages, procedural languages, we first declare the type and then take it. Here that is not
But
required.
why
We just
here input not declare as integer? Why? Because we enter as a 2 only. We didn't enter a comma or letters. Why it is taking only the? It is by
okay.
default as yeah.
Yeah. So here what happens is, see, basically whenever I'm going to input something like this, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe even I wanted to try it. So let me declare another variable, study, study test. Okay. So let me test it and say like I'm just typing just input hello, or yeah, let me take it in a separate page. Let me add a new code and try this out. Input. Okay. I'm just declaring this. Okay. I'm saying 2. So now let's take the type of 3. You see? So by default,
Yeah,
whenever
it is
this
taken
input is
string.
taken, it takes it as string only. So irrespective of whatever value you are going to give, it doesn't convert that. Yeah.
When we manually enter the values, it will be
Yes,
like
exactly. So you might have to convert it and then take it across. Yes, yes, you are right. You're right. Yeah, so that's why we do experiment and try to look in for, right? So unless until, so irrespective of whatever value we're going to enter, it just takes it by default. Okay, nice. So that is something about the integers that I wanted to, integers or floats that we will be working on with. But we'll be seeing more detailed examples as we work with more problems, right? So we'll be making. So one big good advantage of this particular Google Colab is it also gives us a AI prompt along with, right? So it helps you to do the debugging. It helps you to, it's like a parallel programmer which comes with us, right? So any mistakes that we are doing, anything that we are doing, it helps us to do coding in a much more faster manner. So most of the languages are having it now, but why we chose Google Colab is for that purpose. So not necessarily everyone needs to mug up the syntax. We just start working on from day one, right? So you don't have to look on learning what it is. So that's why I gave you a link in Telescope where you can look for more details about Python, the data types, and he'll be talking more on that content. So parallelly, you go through that, but that will be a good understanding as well for us. Okay, now let's play with some strings, right? So already we saw about the integers. Let's looking for some string. So I'm just saying, so today's topic is what we are talking about Python. Okay, so I'm declaring a variable called topic. I'm saying introduction to Python. So this is my variable. And with this particular variable, what you can do is you can basically make use of various functions there. You see here, there is an upper, lower, likewise, there are various functions that are available. These are inbuilt functions, right? So basically what it does, it just converts all the data into uppercase by default. And in case when I have to look in for or do some string manipulations and things, very similar to other languages that we will be using, we can also convert it to lowercase, which is already there in lower. So there is no point in converting it back. But if you have to replace this topic with uppercase, what you have to do is you just need to say topic equal to, since it is case sensitive, topic equal to, so I'm just saying, just assign this and let's see what is there in topic. So it just replaces whatever our variable is with that case. Now I can say to lower, right? So I can basically convert it back to a lower case and then look into. So what are the other things that are there that will list it here only? You see here, there is a capitalize, center, count, encode, find, format, index. So is numeric or is printable, title, likewise, whatever string values that can be used for this topic, that will come by default here. You can just make use of what is, how to use what, and things like that. Right. So this is basically encoding and built-in methods. So these are some of the other things that you can do with the strings as well. But our focus is not this, but we'll be looking into the other details there. Right. So here also you can find something. So here we said it is lower. So now topic dot, there is something called find, right? So inside this find, what I'm saying, find Python, right? So I'm just saying find Python from this topic. You see what is happening?
-1.
Yeah. So what it is saying, because I have converted this everything as upper and stored it inside topic, it is not able to find Python. So whenever it is returning -1, which means that it is not able to find anything. So it returns -1. Let's now change this, okay, and say like PYTHON. Now let's give this way. You see, it is basically giving me at which character this particular keyword Python is there, where it is starting. So it is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it is starting at 16th character. Hence it is displaying me the 16th position. Basically it is basically returning me the 16th position where this particular Python string is available, right? So if it is not able to find it, it just says, so assume like find P alone, right? I'm just giving it, so should be there. So if I'm saying typing it in a lower case, PYT, yeah.
Okay.
Was some question asked, rather?
No, sir. No,
Okay.
sir. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. So, so this is with some of the string manipulations as well, right? So what we are doing with Python. And let's go on to loops now. So how the loops work and what are the indentations that we need to follow across for the loops and stuffs like that, right? So let's get started with some basic loops. So I'm saying there is one loop called if loop. You all know about this. So I'm saying I already have a variable study hours somewhere stored. I think what is the exact variable name? I'll take the same variable. So hours per week.
Conditional
Yeah.
statement, sir.
Sorry.
Conditional statement, sir.
Yeah, conditional statements. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
later
that's right.
else if while loop.
Yes. Yeah, correct. So here what I'm saying is I have my variable hours per week. So if my hours per week is greater than like 20, so I'm saying like, okay, that's really good. So at least we should be having the hours per week should be greater than 30. So you see here, any declarations you need to have, unlike in other programming languages, also something similar will be there. We give a colon, not a semicolon, it's a colon. So you just give it and you see automatically 4 spaces, it has indented the text. So it is an indented language, Python is. Unlike we don't use any curly braces, open curly brace, close curly brace, we don't use. We directly use indentation. So do not use tab for your indenting. Manually, in case if you are using Jupyter notebooks where this indentation is not currently coming also, most of the IDEs will be giving it by default. In case if it is not coming, keep that in mind. It has to be 4 spaces. You have to just type in 4 spaces one after the other. So that's for any of the loop or blocks that you are going to consider, right? So here I'm saying whenever this study hours is greater than or equal to 20, I'm just saying, okay, print something like good job, right? So else I'm saying, so for else you have to come back to this line only, where if is there, the same line only you have to type the else as well, right? So or else this will not give you. Yeah. For else you don't, you also need to give a colon, and you see else
Hello,
print.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes, Raghav.
if below we printing in the fourth tab after we type the print, any syntax or anything else, sir?
Sorry, Raghav, something was missing initially. What was your full question? Can you repeat?
If condition after we enter the print after four space, we type it.
Uh-huh.
So anything a
Yes.
syntax or anything follow the rules else anything.
Yes. It is the indentation rule of Python. So it is a intent-based language. Python is unlike our Java or C, where we give curly braces, right? Very similar to that. It means like the block is getting started. That's what we are saying by this 4 spaces. If block is getting started here, and then whatever you are going to type it inside will be based on this condition. So we are just telling that if the print has to work here, you have to type it after 4 spaces, so that this is basically working here, right? So we are just that's the usual rule or something that we can call it as. In Python, that is how it works.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. So here we are saying if it is greater than 20, good job, else study mode. Okay, I'm just executing this. So basically what it is doing is it just went inside this loop, and the per hour study is 21 already. So assume that I'm going to make it as 30 instead of 20. Now you have to say like it prints the else block there. So this
Why
is how
did
we
you declare
generally we did.
this hours per week, sir?
So we have declared it on top, right? So if you remember that input statement, what
Okay,
we put.
it will be continuous, huh?
Yes. The once the data is assigned, unless until you want to remove it, it remains there.
Okay,
Study hours per
within
week.
any box also it will be continuous.
Yes. It can. It will continue. Yeah.
Okay. Continuous.
Okay. So that's the variable value that we got declared at on top. So the same thing has been taken here. Okay. Next, let's move on to the next kind of loop, right? So next is other more important loop that we'll be using in Python, which will be like a for loop. Okay. The syntax for for loop is this. We'll be giving for I in range of 10. So, and we'll be printing the I, right? So for I in range of 10, print I. So basically what is happening here? It takes a range of values from 0 to 9. And for loop also follows a very similar syntax. You see here, this 4 spaces will be there. After within a for loop, whatever is coming, it will come with those 4 spaces. And we just print that value. So as you know, in any programming language, the index starts from 0. Hence, it is starting from 0 as well here. And it goes until 9. So I'm saying a range of values is nothing but this gives me like how many values is there inside this. So I can type in a range, anything. So range is nothing but an argument it takes. So which produces sequence of integers from start and then till end. You also have additional parameters as well you can mention here. So where you want to start, stop, those things as well, you can mention it here, right? So basically supports starting also. So start the range with 5 and end with 9, right? I'm saying start and end. Let's see what happens, right? So it is starting with 5. I don't have an end actually here. So whenever I'm typing, it is okay, range 10. Okay. So I'm saying here support index stop. Okay, stop with 5, I'm saying. Okay. So now what happens? I think it is not getting stopped there, or it is not getting displayed for some reason. Let's understand what has happened there. But I think by default, this range should be having the stop as well. So maybe it is not displaying for me something. Supports index underscore stop it is. So let's see what has happened. Or it should say, maybe let me try something else just for okay. So basically what has happened previously, right? Are you guys able to understand what has happened previously? See here, I'm saying this will be the starting, right? So the value whatever I gave was lesser than this, right? So basically what has happened is it was not able to print anything. So that's why it moved out, right? See, you have to say like start from 10 and end with 20. If I'm saying it's starting with 10, next 10 values it is printing, right? So that's the advantage of having this, just to understand like what happens and how to debug things. This will be quite helpful for us. We don't have to remember the syntax for anything. Right? So this value, once you put a comma, it becomes a next integer. So for example, here if I'm saying start with 10 and assume like I'm giving minus 10. Now let's see what happens, right? I'm saying minus 10. See, it doesn't print anything. So either I should start with minus 10 and display till 10, then it will, you see, it is taking from minus 10 and it is coming down until 10, right? So this is something to understand about ranges in for loop basically. And we can also do something more complex in for loops, right? So are you guys aware of Fibonacci series? 1 minute. Just a minute. I just need to take some water. Okay. Are you guys aware of Fibonacci series? What is Fibonacci series? Can anyone tell me?
I think it is from 0 to 1.
Uh-huh.
Between it will golden crossover something golden. how the for I means I'm based
Yeah.
on stock market. It will be if you drop until 10, there is a lines
Uh-huh.
will be between from start to end. There will be
Uh-huh.
33%, 65, 50. There is a
Uh-huh.
Fibonacci levels
Uh-huh.
we draw it. How it is means it is based on calculation only. But
Uh-huh.
they think it will take a support and resistance by based on Fibonacci. We draw
Uh-huh.
it.
Okay. 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 Fine. So yeah, here it's a different concept altogether. See, basically the numbers, right? So assume that there is numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this, right? So what it does is it adds this number 1 plus 1, which will be 2, right? And again 2 plus 1 will be 3, and 3 plus 2, it will display, instead of 4, it will display 5, and 5 plus 3, it will display 8, and likewise, right? Last two numbers it takes, and it keeps on adding that together. So 13 plus 8, another, it will become 21, like that. So keeps on adding the last two numbers. So that's what we'll be generating here, right? So what we'll do for that purpose is we'll first you make use of for loop for that. So I'm first declare two variables, a and b, a equal to 1, b equal to 1, because we'll be starting with first two numbers like a and b. So here I'm saying I'm going to start this for a range of 10 numbers. I'm going to print this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just saying first print A, and then I'm saying print B, right? And after printing A and B, what I'll want to do is I'm saying, see, this is conditional assignments. Maybe if this is a bit complex for you to understand, first let's understand more of a simpler one, right? So whenever we are going to do this is a multi-line assignment. So here what I'm saying is I'm saying A is equal to B I'm giving first. That will be my first line there. And what I'll do is I'll say A equal to B. And then I'll declare one more variable called temp. Okay, I'll tell you line by line why we are declaring this. So then I assign this temp. So I declare B first. Okay. So and I assign this B value as temp, right? So I'm saying B is equal to A, and I'm just assigning a variable called temp, right? Temp is equal to B. So now what happens is basically, I should have done this way. Yeah. A equal to B, yes. And there is one more value, B. So I'm going to say B is equal to A plus B. Okay. So now what I'm doing is basically I'm taking first 1 and 1. I display 1 and 1. And then I'm saying A equal to B. So which means B is 1, right? So the next number it takes. And then it assigns the sum of this A plus B to B again. So what happens? Last two digits, I'm just taking it in memory and I'm assigning that value and basically displaying that. So this is what is done in this syntax statement also in the below. But what happens is this. So let's see how it is printing first, right? Then we'll understand it better. So now I'm saying print B. Okay. So let's see what happens. You see, first it is typing 1. So it is saying 1 plus 2. It has first typed 1, 1, 2 times. That's right. Then it went to the next number, 2. And then here, I don't know, it again went to 1. And similarly, it is going on like this. It is not actually doing a Fibonacci addition, basically, for me. Because you see, I'm just printing A alone there. I'm not printing anything else. right? So here, when you are trying to print both the values, then let's see what happens. 1 and 2. So you see here, last two numbers, it is taking 2 plus 2, which is 4. And next it is displaying again 2. So 4 plus 4, it is displaying 8 again. And similarly, last two numbers only it is taking, basically. 32 plus 32, it displays the sum here. 64 plus 64 is 128. 128 plus 128, 256. 256 plus 256, 512. 512 and 512 is 1024, right? So basically, this is the Fibonacci numbers, right? So it's like 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So it's basically displaying the sum of last two numbers there overall, right? So, but before we understand this part as well, right? So I'm going to comment this code. So let's see what happens here, right? So instead of this a comma b, I'm just going to say a equal to a plus b alone. Okay, let's see now what happens. See, first it's displaying 1 and 1 two times, right? So it is just displaying 1 and 1. So since I'll remove one more just to show like what has happened. You see here, this has now first 1, 1 is there, then 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 8 is 13, 13 plus 21 is 34, and 21 plus 34 is 55. You see what has changed from the previous code to the current code? What do you think has changed, and what produced our Fibonacci numbers now, and why our earlier code was displaying something? So let's first understand. So that's an assignment for you. I'm not going to show you why it is, but you have to work it out and you have to tell me, right? So Raghav, you have already worked in Java, so this should not be very difficult for you to know.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
So earlier what I did, I said A is equal to B, right? And then for B, what I did, B equal to A plus B. So I want you to tell me this difference basically. So what has happened here versus what changed here? So I'll show you this output again. You see here what has happened? It has went to the 10 ranges, right? So 1 plus 1 is 2. So why suddenly 8 came here? And then how come this 8 turned to 16 and 32? It is basically multiplying me the values, right? This one is. Why do you think this is happening? Versus this line of code where I'm just saying, just take this values as it is and just display that, right? So versus this line of code. See here. So, but this is working in a perfect way for me as a Fibonacci series. The previous one was not. So this is a question for you guys tomorrow when we are going to come and meet. I wanted an answer for this assignment. What is happening here versus this? So I need a Fibonacci numbers, right? So I'm declaring the same thing, right? So I'm just saying print A and then A comma B equal to B comma A plus B. Literally this and this is looking one and the same. But what has changed? Why there alone there is a different way this is getting computed? See, with this for loops, we can do many things there, as you all understand, right? So this programming is all about number crunching and trying to see. See here, this is working in a very different way. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Likewise, it's just doubling me the
Here you are
number.
declaring,
Yeah.
here you are declaring the number A equal to B. Here is B equal to B.
No.
You are
Here, this also works in the same way only. You see, first A comma B is A is being taken the value as B, right? So this and this will be equated. And similarly, this and this will be equated. So I'm doing the same thing, but I am doing here in a single line versus here I'm just doing it one after the other. Right? So that's where I wanted you to look into and tell me after working out why
Okay.
this is right. So here also this is one and the same, but you see the output is totally different. This is giving me the exact Fibonacci numbers. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 5 is 8. But there, when I'm doing, it is just doubling things, right? So similarly, you can also do this. So this assignment question, this is, so maybe I wanted you to work it out and help me understand.